Prayers before teaching. Toje lubu zange be zung zhong la zha lu zhou zong den bei zheng yu la ni me yi gi gyab zu ji ngo zhe yi gi nang zhong bei pa bei zhong ma she sung zong ngo zhu zhu ju bei ge ne je ma lu zhen ba ren yi zhu zhu guo song dak bei chu ma zhang zhong la ji yi rong da bei da ji dui ma so bei zhang zhu zem ge no je zhang zhu zem ba la pa pa zong gi lu mu lo ze ra zhe bei ge wang nam din ne zhang zhu shou tu sa ji bu zhu ji zhu me to dram ri ram ling ji ne de gem ba di zang ge ji du mi de bu wai tro gong nam da jing la zhong ba zhu yi ram gu ru ra na men da la ken yi ya ta ya san chen nam gi zam ba dang le yi je zha ji da wa je zhong chang mong den bai cho ki guo lu ko du zong
Gāngdān chāchū dāngyān chikdān nāndē chī lāmbara jāwā gāng sū tā tāndir sēngā chū kī chārambē sāmbarān dēbā dāṃ chāndir shē shē nā mā rīyā nā mā rā yī kā nā rū dāng dā shē Bangtan Sonyan Chidra Subale, Kenze, Karnasam Tajaba, Kanshan Kriya, Tukin Cho, Sonja Dorjin Lamara de Sonja Dorjin Lamara Zamlin Zebe Jindro Chanya, Tujalan, Tonya, Tomayana, Tampa, Tushu, Kanda Jura Zaba, Longchenpa, Timeva Sushala, Gajaza. Namke Tajapi, Namjaki Tunda. Dahaki Namjan Lanamipa, Yang Dabrazo, Sanji Koban Rinpoche, Jine Yang Torcha, De Cheta Dagi, Tare, Tabichu, Samandini, Susan de Lewara Sende, Tunyam Sotara, Yo, Nyambatane, Samba Chanchu Choto, Tukeba, Mondo, Song, Gordon, Sambra Shu.
So please proceed listening to the teachings by generating the supreme intention of bodhicitta, thinking that for the benefit of all sentient beings who pervade the reaches of space, I will do whatever it takes to attain fully enlightened Buddhahood. And for that reason, I will listen to the nectar of the Dharma and put it into practice.
Tela Kashi Simmerchevi Chugi Rimbala, Tazopachamba Simyanga Su, Nesum Gawa Sumgi Tenchi, Changshu Lamzang Shejawa, Changshu Lamzang Shu Sanada,
And the topic of today's teachings is Longchenpa's text of Resting the Nature of Mind, the Excellent Path to Enlightenment, the essential instructions on the three virtues, the ground, path, and fruition.
Standi Kasa Dini da Kunchin Chuchi Jabo, Kunjalong Sharam Japi, Yangan and Zeshapikita, Zopachamba Semyanga So Shichawa, Tikitinata. Tene Shung Tingi, Tene Gombe Nyamsul, Lembe Rimbanam, Chochu to Debnama, Goshapatere.
So there's the text written by the omniscient Longchenpa of relaxing within the nature of mind, the great completion. And this present text combines all the different stages of practice connected with that in one place.
Then that 20 Nanyan Kasa, Tangas Simyanga Sutanti, the Simyanga Suki, Tadriki Long Dan, Simyanga Suki, and the Karshaw, Chiti Tanzo, Lomangbo, those China, Lokashina, those Chinada, Mutine, the Chedavashre, Tratipach.
So we'll be continuing on giving the instructions from this, giving teachings from this, the essential instructions connected with resting in the nature of mind, as well as the long for the root text and its commentary. We've been doing that for a number of years now, so we're going to continue.
Simyanga Setsandeta, and Gomrim, Tonzoki Nalola, Tamaki Yenteki Tabane Zone, Yagi, Nanga Zowachimbo Parki, tene 다 터섬 검숨게 림바 탐제 단라 팝샤바 된대지라.
So the root text in the commentary of resting in the nature of mind, as well as the essential instructions, the meditation instructions themselves, go from the vehicle of the Shravakas all the way up to the pith instruction class of great perfection. And they subsume all aspects of the three wisdoms of hearing, contemplating, and meditating.
다든지기 냠len 탁터섬 제네 냠len 기르바 탐제장 되네 dombe 체강 야다 집주샤직 마 집주샤직 바트도 마 때나 밥나 요사.
And so within this text is first one hears it and then contemplates it, and then all the meaning of how to practice that is written here in 141 sections of meditation instructions.
that's nyam the one ma judina sung yongre the nyamselen be bayang tene nyimare la chikan re nyamselen na yang dire tene nyima chikan re la nyima sum chene nyamselen na dire tatina shingi tene rangi kalore nyima ngala soba ta jewa chegina nyima chikan re la ya nyima ngare komya
And it's described later on in the text that one can meditate for just one day on each of the steps of the instructions, or 3 or 5 days, or even more extensive, spending as much time as one wants or needs for each stage of practice. And it's also described that one can spend a week on each stage.
Nyamsilamba tsamya mare ta thosam gom sumcha yore ro ta tsangma tsandra yozo ta gina thosam gom sumge jimba cha tsangwa shi yores.
And so by practicing in that way, and not just practicing, but also hearing the teachings and contemplating the teachings from both the root text and its commentary, all aspects of hearing, contemplating, and meditating are complete within this.
Tene doksu yebe nana ta ngazu nanying parto la tene tandila yang zo ta korso gore rimba to ta nyamsilembar cheba tela yang chittumongi hi yutsini ki tekba tomar ki vichi nang kebar ki diu sanga dorje tekba parta ki vichi sawa nesang nyambo diu zobo chimbo lana mebe tekba tamar ki vichi tang sum shub yores.
And within this practice text, there are 3 sections or 3 virtues. The initial virtue, the outer common basis of the sutra vehicle of characteristics. The intermediate virtue, the inner special fruition of secret mantra Vajrayana. And the final virtue, the secret fruition of the essential definitive meaning of the unsurpassable great completion.
Rimba 당부디 chittimongi tekbeki gomjumdi songne nang chebar kita di kamna re.
So we've previously gone through the outer common basis of the sutra vehicle of characteristics and all its stages of meditation. And now we're on the inner special fruition of the secret mantra of Vajrayana.
Yes. Then chide nipa jo sanga dorji thebegi gomrim tela dana ngazo tenere nipa de.
So we're on this second section of the special fruition of secret mantra of Vajrayana, inner tantras.
Lasta tela yang lama jube rimba damchi ni banana ngazo damchi ke kamna re.
And this has also two categories, the lamas of the lineage and the instructions themselves.
Damchi tela yang chakyudan, chukyudan, najur champula name pe gyudete jiro shugyares.
And within the instructions themselves, there's a number of categories. There's Kriya Tantra, Kriya Tantra, Upatantra, Yoga Tantra, and Anuttara Yoga Tantra.
Las tanzo nane nganzo ta najur la name pe gyuba teir.
And now we're on the last one, Anuttara Yoga Tantra.
Tene tela yang pagyudan, magyudan nime ki de sumdu shukpare ta nganzo sumbega kamnar.
And this also has three categories of the father tantras, mother tantras, and non-dual tantras, and we are on the third of those, the non-dual tantras now.
Sta tela yang keso chir gomba dang salam chirato gomba ni yebenane dangboti nangner.
And this has two categories. The general meditation of this translation here translates Kerium and Zokrim, but it's usually creation and completion or development and completion back into Sanskrit as Patikrama and Sampanakrama, but I'm going to say creation and completion. So there's the two categories of the general meditations of creation and completion and the specific meditation of the profound path.
Tanga lameki keso chir gombe ramba tela tene anzo geneji ki pacha joya la mingne ane kirim gomdang bandawa shitaji yare.
So in the general meditations for the creation and completion stage, they have the focus or the aim of purifying the four methods of birth. And so based on that, there's four methods of practice with varying levels of extensive, very brief or very extensive.
Dene gomji ki pacha jongor chepe chirtu dene ganzo kirim jeba gomya jir daksa shense siya jir dene chinyoras.
So in order to purify the habits of birth from an egg, there's the most extensive form of the creation stage, which is referred to as another son and one's own son.
Understand the trim de nanying rimbate nanying rosashas. The Hindu Java Kirim de Daxation said it Titsatos.
So last year we finished that one, which is the 98th section.
Tene ngalche jongwa jeba drinki gomsul nis tandi tene ngalche jongya ki kirim
The next one is the moderately extensive practice of purifying birth from a womb. So that's what we are on now, the purification of birth from a womb. That's the moderately extensive form of creation stage practice.
Sonam Shing Samte Sonam Shing Samte Mimikpa Porla Shen Tedang Dawar Gomba Hos Disonsha.
So it says, do the previous visualization, contemplating that the deities are a field of merit, then rest free from reference point. Other than this change in focus, the meditation is the same as before. This is page 170 of the English translation.
Tanda Kirim di Kirim Jumbo Namjin Ranzaki the Pachel Katerki Shung Mangchana at the Kirim Jumbo di Yonguyere.
And for the most part, the majority of the texts of the creation stage from both the Kama lineage and the Terma lineage, canonical and treasure, utilize this medium form of creation stage practice.
Tandi Gomdandi Ganda Chigba Yin Sonja, the Ganda Natane Didwa Tambo Jamdrosem Jeche.
And it utilizes the same method of practice as what was mentioned above, that begins with first taking refuge and giving rise to bodhicitta.
Then Dunyan Namgala, Shitu Jingur Chen Chang Cha Yang, a Chapatan Tebatan Did solved up down Dombazon than the Shabacha than the Shitus.
So when one invites the mandala of the peaceful and wrathful deities and makes offerings and praise to them, takes samaya and also makes confessions and so forth.
Tene tonso dune tongba la sha tene tijini kunang yu tingin singombya tosonsha.
Then all those deities dissolve and one rests within the nature of emptiness. And then from that point, one meditates on the samadhi of Dharmata, the all-illuminating samadhi, and the samadhi of the causal seed syllable.
Tene yu tingin sinne ta tene tembe chungkor yonzo gom tene ya cha cheba deba nyamba la sopa tene chere.
And then based on the samadhi of the causal seed syllable, then one visualizes the supported deities and the supporting mandala, and within that one makes offerings, praise, and so forth, and then recites mantra.
Yes. And
at the end, it says, perform the two practices of completion stage.
Tan denala ta mendawa de magawa de karresana denama kyamdu semje ki jela dinjinam ka shitu la so chentang sasane banzar me tongba ni kinga da nyambar sha se apartu mogore tada kirim jumbo ko de so didi mogoche de chipa yin la so tenandi sonam gi sing samte mimi pa por la sto di karresana di Dunjinam Karsasane, Banzar Mo, Sayap, Tombani King of the Number Sharks, or did Mogores, Dunjinam Karsasane, Banzar Mo Sapat.
So the difference between these two forms of practice in the creation stage is that in the second one, that's the 99th one, the paragraph that says, then invite the mandala of the peaceful and wrathful deities up to, again, recite Vajamu and rest in equality within the nature of emptiness is unnecessary. One doesn't need to perform that section of the practice for the 99th instruction.
Tati the Nanata cheek looks genet, that's so Ramanga looks genet, do you so share tadi Kangtang also Katriki Lejang Kandachela Temba in Nayanta Tambo ngonroke rimba to yore ta chamru semje tsam tsegi ma ta dinashi tene ngonroke rimba ta namjang ran choga chengira mangche chamru kasa chamru semje tsam ma himba ngonroke kamna kareyo changma ngonroke.
So that's how it's described in these brief pith instructions. In most of the sadhanas in all the sadhanas from the canonical and treasure lineages, though, there's a ngundro, there's a preliminary section, and sometimes refuge in bodhicitta is counted as part of that. And then there's also other sections that we, of course, as all of you know, do those preliminary practices in the sadhana.
Then ngonroke rimba tsane ane ngushi laje ngushi kapsu then ta then maso na shi tambo tijini ki tingen zingom chatam jera jeme pa ni to samne tijini ki tingen zingom.
And so then, having gone through all of those preliminaries in the sadhana, then we generate or develop the visualization of the main deity, beginning with the meditation on the samadhi of Dharmata, or the samadhi of the essential nature, which is meditating on the empty nature of all phenomena.
Tene tejala, tene tongba nye jenang tongni tetara yimba yinayang, tetara matope simjan tamjela mingne, tene nyingji chambo kachaptu gomyare, kunagi tingin zinse.
Then within that nature of emptiness, focusing on sentient beings who lack realization of emptiness, one meditates on compassion that reaches out to all infinite sentient beings pervading the reaches of space because they haven't realized that nature, and that is the all-illuminating samadhi.
Tene tetar tongpa nyitang nyingje shambo zungdun chupale tene rari gyuyi yike tandina la asungba di ngazo di nyingma kama ke di shitroku shungdo zodan rara songre tende kaso gyuyi tengen zin tongpa nyitang nyingje zungdun chupale tene gyuyi tengen zin akarbochi namkala karchen shawa nashi inchine togi sharwa shukum.
And then from the unity of the empty nature and great compassion, there appears the causal seed syllable, which is one's own awareness or rigpa. That's in this case here an a, because this is connected with the canonical lineage of the peaceful and wrathful deities. So there's the union of the two of emptiness and great compassion, giving rise to the seed syllable, a bright white seed syllable ah, like a great star suddenly appearing in the sky.
Nandi yu yigide nganazo lejang shemba la juksong na pena tachi purba dang trema dang kanto te to juksong na te yu yigide gyutro.
So one meditates on this causal seed syllable, but if one is using a different sadhana, for example, Vajrakalaya or Troma or Khandra-tukta Geshe Tsogyal, the seed syllable will change. You'll have different seed syllables.
Tene dana karsondu akar le lai saben chingkor sose dana paps tene lar kyuwe tsuji gyutru chingkor sartaps.
In meditating on the seed samadhi, visualize a white syllable ah. The ah gives rise to the seed syllables of each of the deities, establishing the seats of their respective mandalas. The deity seed syllables transform into the deities. And most practices of this medium length form of the creation stage use the creation through the three vajras.
Tatangbu dene soana shi gyu yike kari inanda, ayi inanda, hong inanda, dene pam inanda, 시인한다 딘데지 살용을.
And the first of those is the seed syllable, whether that's an ah or a hong or a bam or a hri, the visualization of that.
되는 잉루디 줄네 착선을 줄로 그래.
And then that seed syllable transforms into a hand implement.
베나 도르제라고 빼마라고 제고라고 딘데 가리나 단 조레기 착선 떼와티는 줄로 그래.
So that it transforms into a hand implement such as a vajra or a lotus or a driguk, a curved knife, whatever form of hand implement represents that deity.
디제수 되는 착선티니 인걸 유조 가리나다 고름버체다 도지 슈노다 참마다 가리나 딘데라 곰로 그래.
And then from that hand implement, one visualizes the principal deity of the mandala, whether that's Guru Rinpoche or Vajrakalaya, Yeshe Tsogyo, and so forth. So that method of meditation is called creation through the three Vajras.
되네 다 진거기 조금 되네 리어와 그래서 다 코르던 도저였나 창마 독스 검고 그랬어 리베진.
So in that way one meditates on the principal deity, and then if there's a retinue, all the retinue deities in stages.
아니 대제라 이셰바젠자 되네 차다 쳬바다 떠바체다 저가 창마를 요리.
And then in all of the rituals or sadhanas, one then invites the Jnanasattva or the wisdom beings, and then makes prostrations or homage to them and offerings and praise and so forth.
되네 대기제라 다던저 창마를 되네 꾸께베좀 봐야 되시.
And all of that is the yoga of the generation of wisdom body.
Tene di jesu sung devi ki naljur sana sung devi rimbati tene dire zamde nyamba tan drupa tan lejur tene sta shung na kare sung yawa di na shin chena troyare.
And after that is the yoga of the recitation of wisdom speech. So at that point one is reciting mantra. So there's a approach, accomplishment, and the application of activity, and one follows whatever aspects of that are described in the text that one is using.
That's then mason la solar rolwa mekang rong test that song.
And then
so you're the yuna digreta mena digres.
And here in the text it says, having performed this fully, enjoy the feast offering, or you may omit it. So here it's saying it's okay to do it and okay not to do it.
Then the Jesu the that two things zingi measure the younger jukdena tamjek that jula two things zingi measure the younger.
And at the conclusion of this, at the end of all of these, is the yoga of the samadhi of wisdom mind.
So
here it says, perform the two practices of the completion stage and then make dedication. And the two practices of completion stage refers to completion stage with appearances and without appearances.
Then nangme gzorim sayadi naranzuda jingor tamje durim juyarwa odire naranzuda namji jingor samar jungne durim she yogda. No nangme tada nangme de tamje dune nawa me palashaya.
So the completion stage without appearances refers to the stage of dissolution. So where all the deities and the mandala and so forth dissolve into emptiness and there's no more appearance of them.
다디 나와도 제가 들으면서 하디 오늘 저는 디 땅랑서 다가서 아 기름 계속이 그던라 계속이 그던라 되네 가서래 배 니였나 가서래 계속이 그던라 곰지 약보였나 아니 곰지 약보였나 되네 기름 곰 진도야 되네 남 가서다 동니기 예테베고네 곰도바였나 되라되네 나와도 지위 적으면 송샤
And the completion stage with appearances, in this case, refers to what somebody who is very familiar with the union of creation and completion is able to do, and that even as they are visualizing and meditating on the wisdom deity, they're able to seal it within great emptiness. So they're doing both practices simultaneously. So that's why it's referred to as the completion stage with appearances.
That's did that in a sona she Zorim Nipukumla said that the did it.
So that's what's being talked about where it says perform the two practices of completion stage.
Unless then Dijela or the Mulam does Chitar the chair.
And then make dedication. So one afterwards makes dedications and aspirations in the normal way of doing so.
Unless then Didi then chicken did it. Guchu Zagupaos.
So this is the 99th instruction.
Then Trashir Kiki Pacha Jonshir Diva Gombane starting around the Trashir Kiki Pacha Jaya Chetu Kiram Diva Gomdandi Kandaresana.
Next is the abbreviated practice of purifying the habitual patterns of birth from moisture. So this is the creation stage practice that is concise in order to purify all habits related to taking birth from moisture. And if that one then asks, how do you do that? It will follow.
Then Kirim Akasa Kamrusin Chene Tongbing Angle Ten Shaye Kandang Tingin Tingin Ten Tongbingang Ten Shaye Kanda Temba Lai Jingo Nam So Tsen Joba Zamji Shitu Lar Sal Tapes Dandidi Diris Kirim Kasa Kamrusem Keche Then Tongbingang Ten the Tembi Jingo Dozo Lateki Tsen Joba Zamshi Yang Sal Tamdroa.
So it says, take refuge and give rise to bodhicitta from within emptiness. Visualize the mandala of the palace as the support and the mandala of deities as the supported. By simply calling out their names, the peaceful and wrathful deities appear. So here first one takes refuge and develops the mind of bodhicitta, then from within the nature of emptiness by just reciting or uttering the names of the 100 peaceful and wrathful deities, those deities together with the mandala, the palace, and so forth, all appears.
Dini wangzo shebane tamche lada lamengang shebi par lenchi jone tadi lejange di tsik dikazi jone tani gom suya deresha.
Then perform a single recitation of the text in the Tantra, beginning with powerful completion, up through all appearances of the nature of devas and devis, or wisdom, male and female wisdom deities. So this is referring to the actual lines of sadhana here.
Alas, lenchi jene rangi yene la ye rajindu sang ye ngor topale tene tuki pema nindi kuzang yoyumgi hongle goche matoke simjingi dibajang larche pakwa larkyur pakwa che nga ki rangji jikten chabar sangla om hong tramshi a she chitrup delas demik de tirtu.
Then in this translation, the next line says, seeing yourself as the nature of the primordial deity, you realize the essence of enlightenment. But that might be better understood or translated as like from the understanding or realization that one's own essence is Buddha and is naturally and beginningsly the deity, like within that one's understanding or realization of that nature, then you visualize as follows. In your heart center is a lotus, sun and moon seed. On top of that is Samantabhadra, father and mother. In their heart centers is the syllable Hung, from which light rays emanate. The light rays purify the obscurations of sentient beings who do not realize enlightenment and transform them into deities. The light rays then make offerings to the noble ones. So this is all the visualization for the recitation of mantra.
Tene judena zorim ni kangrung gomlo ngowa chawos ya. Tangina shinche.
Sorry, I continued on. I cut off a little bit. Visualize that the self-reverberating sound of mantra pervades the world. Om Ah Hum, Om Hum Cham Shri Ah. Recite this as much as you can. And then at the conclusion of this, it says, perform a suitable practice of the 2 completion stages and make dedication. So, as before, one concludes it with the completion stage. So this is the concise form of the creation stage, which is the 100th instruction. Then is the very abbreviated practice of purifying the habitual patterns of miraculous birth. So this is the most concise form of creation stage. Take refuge and give rise to bodhicitta. From within emptiness, instantly perform the visualization and mantra recitation and meditate on the completion stage.
Nindi tengdu kuzang yoyum sharjir dorji kyurung nyamshan zabali gotu nangsi tamji yishinga yishin kamsu tabarche konde tamji rochi yene tabi sangye su sal tabla di oma hong ta sal tabla ta di che karsa ngazumasan ta jirimdi dira lagum yade di che.
Here, meaning in this context, in this practice, after giving rise to bodhicitta, visualize a sun and moon seed in the midst of space. On top of this is Samantabhadra and Samantabhadri in union in the Vajra posture, holding the mudra of meditation. Light rays emanate and purify all of appearance and existence, transforming everything into the pure realms of the 5 wisdoms. Visualize that all of samsara and nirvana is of one taste, primordially pure enlightenment. Om Ahom. So this is the visualization of the generation stage. So recite Om Ahom as much as one can. Then relax within the nature of one taste. An incomprehensible or usually inconceivable luminosity will arise. In conclusion, make dedication.
Tandini Jawa Chugum Kunjinang Shechawate, Tandile Gomyandi, Kuzayoyum Jangbashugum Sarwa Didida, Jawa Kungum chikingang ta shung special kashinana di song yoro dina shinre songre.
This is known as meditation on a single victorious one, is meditation on the inherent nature of all. So by meditating on Samantabhadra alone, then one is meditating on all the inherent nature of all of Buddhas, all victorious ones. These are words from the practice text.
Yes. Then dini kanchin sana rik tamje ki dakbo, jingo tamje ki wangchu, rangjung de myon gombo, sangye tamje ki mewu tamba gombi chiro, sadi gomba ina, ta dire songre. Rik tamje ki dakbo, jingo tamje ki wangchu, rangjung de myon gombo, jingo tamje ki mewu tamba gombi chiro.
And the reason this is the case is that Samantabhadra is the lord of all families and the master of all mandalas. He is the self-arising primordial protector and the authentic forefather of all Buddhas. So this is the reason why just meditating on one Samantabhadra includes everything.
Sanyingle, kachil tangbe yinginda ishi jawo tongsal gom, jawi jinkor maluwa tamche dinne gombar gyor song tandi yudra sawanya wanane toksa song yale.
The Gurya states, on top of a sun and moon, in the expanse of the clear, lustrous center of space, is the king of wisdom, emptiness, clarity. By meditating on this, one meditates on all the mandalas, all the victorious ones, without exception. So that's what's stated in the matrix of the glorious, the magical manifestation.
Alas, da kirim di trashir ki kirim gomdang da zuji ki kirim gomdang ni tangaran zanda di peji chasha gena tina chikchana kole la ya tra pe nangaran zu trashir ki kirim gomdang la chen joba samji sal tap sto o di kanderesana.
So to make it easy to understand the two practices of creation stage that purify miraculous birth and birth from moisture. In the creation stage of birth from moisture, one visualize the deities by simply calling their names.
Om banzer to the Galiba Marines a home and then the Treram Gisiava. What I did when Om banzer to the Galiba Marines up the Lapatam, the Jabatam Chegarani, Chemicula Lams Gomdro, Petit George.
So in the request to the Dharma protector Rahula that's in the trauma practice, one recites the mantra of trauma Om Benzer Kodi Kalibam Harini Sohumpet, and then begins with the rest of the recitation, like in the sky in front of me is Rahula and so forth, or there's the charnel ground. So just by reciting the mantra of the deity Trauma, she appears clearly. So that's similar to this form of creation stage.
That's then Tadewala shira sungam doa te ane manzo sengdong makan dopa chiyore. Te ina keji ranya kandroma singadoja kursaves. Lamsang keji ranya kandroma singadoja kursaves te kaso. Lamsang rang sengdong malo gomsoro di jawara tanda di kasa di hoga di hindu diwa ki zuki ki pasha chaya ki kirim gomdang di o tinrawa.
And we don't typically recite it here, but there's a hand clapping and averting practice for Singmuka or Singdongma that begins like instantaneously. I appear as the wisdom deity, the wisdom Dakini Singmuka. So that that form of visualization, that instantly appearing as the wisdom deity, is similar to the creation stage in which that purifies the habits of miraculous birth.
So
those are the examples I have to make these easy to understand.
yadang chik.
So with that, we finished the 101st instruction.
Di kita chitanda di kasa kirim namjadang sa yang tamasi ja chambur ina danda nala ta myanga ga lux chene chik lux chene dudu ta yingbu gomdang da wadi to song.
In general, the teachings and explanations connected with the creation stage are very vast, but this has been presented in a very concise, pithy way because it's from the lineage of pith instructions or meditation instructions.
Hala ta kirim gomba di changma gi chele dini ngaranzo la ya tse korwa thoma mepa ne tata la tuki partu ane ngaranzo la karsa kanza ki dakto tawa na shu ki dakto tawa ni yore ane zo dini ki nyambo re.
And the function of all forms of creation stage practice is to purify the habits that we have accumulated from beginning this time in samsara up to now and act as the antidote for the two forms of self-grasping to the self of the individual and grasping to the self of phenomena. So it's the antidote for all of that.
Ngaranzo la pena tande ngaranzo ki luten dile tsamba ina ya pena so la ngaran zimba re yorwa pena nga jingme nam kyo to yi samba.
So if we take who we are in this body as an example, Tulku was saying, for example, I think I am Jigme Namgyal Dorje. And this is grasping to the self of an individual.
And the
antidote for this in the creation stage is to think that I am this wisdom deity that has such and such qualities or characteristics. And so whatever wisdom deity one meditates on, whether it's Guru Rinpoche or Troma or Vajrakalaya, any kind of deity, one needs to think that they are completely free from all faults and that all qualities are completely perfected within them, and that I actually am that wisdom deity, and that's what we call Vajra pride, or pride in the wisdom deity that acts as an antidote towards ordinary self-grasping.
Yes. Teneng anzola ta jik ta di yoro pena anzo yultin zimba pena nga lonzambuling mi samba.
And then there's grasping to objects, so thinking that I'm a human being of this world or of the earth.
Tinashi nga Asia nga Europe nga kare seado mangbo yoro.
And then there's many other different things like that, like I'm Asian, I'm European, whatever.
Tinashi nga jana America France yoro nga jakap si yoro zimba shukchambo yoro.
And then we have, grasping to, like, from India or US or France, we have a lot of clinging to nations and countries.
Tene yang hanzu ke lungba hanzu ke ngade la ne yang zimba shikashe ngaso tanda ngaso California de dera ngaso nga California bana California inondo nga California ye samba. California yin samba. Nga California ke mi yin samba.
And then even within that, we think we have clinging to our like own state or our own locale where we live. So we're in California, so we think, oh, I'm a Californian. I'm from California.
Other thing is that tene ta ngaso santi kasa di area la yoro yang ngaso zimba yoro. 근데 사샤티 다닥다 가고 당가 민가라민 제르거든 그렇게 됐다티 때문에 이 사샤 여러 디나예 삼바 나저기 삼바.
And then we also have fixation on the place more specifically that we live, like Pemosling here.
다 도저 상마 그 냠볼라더니 샤야간 공용 신감 공용 그래 신감.
So the antidote for all of that is to meditate on the Pure Land.
나중에는 친누 긴직된 다버지 냠보세.
So it's the antidote that purifies the outer container of the universe.
다양한 강박은 좀 여러 개 강박 선네 나랑이 강박 여러 남자 라강 삼바 난 디기냐 봤더니 샤야강 공소스.
And then we also have clinging to buildings or our home, thinking that that's my house, that's my home. So for that, one meditates on the immeasurable palace.
알아서 되는 다 나랑서 봄보는 욕보세요. 여러 발라 아말라세요. 부고세요. 여러 코르세요. 여러 욕보세요. 여러 망부여라. 어떤 상황은 zemba기 냠벌 되는 나랑서 쪼던 코르당 안되네 망보시 검로여라. 도전다 대소기 전 상황 가서 취그 단서로 대소기 냠벌라 되는 어떤 정도여라.
And then there's all the people around us, our family, our mother and father, employees, bosses, people who help us, all of that, all the people around us. The antidote for clinging to that is meditating on the principal deity and retinue. So all of these act as antidotes to the two forms of self-clinging. And there's also the things we use to ornament ourselves and our possessions, a great deal. And likewise, then the Buddhas have ornaments and hand implements and many different similar things like that, which are antidotes to our clinging to those things.
안디나싱 아란절라다 나께서 나시서 나 처외내가 인삼네 바샤 여러와 지시 반도성게 바샤 다도 창마기 냠부체게 여러다 나가라저기 디신이 땡인진다 군나게 디신이 땡인진다 군나게 땡인진다 유이 땡인진다 소바던 창마기 가저기다 지시 반도성게 바샤 탐지 장게 여러.
And we also have habits of thinking I'm dying or dead, I'm being born, or I am alive. So we have habits related to birth, death, and the bardo. And that is purified by the three samadhis, the samadhi of the essential nature, the all-illuminating samadhi, and the samadhi of the causal seed syllable. It purifies all habits of birth, death, and the bardo.
알았어. 대능은 대제 제대는 다른 상무조 류던 저도 알아서 그스타스 다소 소던 저가 나가 되나지 알아서 다 안절게 나게 박자 좀 뭐여러 지 깨져셔야 당 되네 지 다간다 나게 박자 망부 여러 상에 망부터 탐지 자야 그냥 보내 되네 대주티 소저.
So all of that is primarily connected with physical form, our own form and others. But we also have a great deal of habits connected with speech. And so the antidote for that is the recitation of mantra to purify all our habits of speech and the way we talk, both good and bad.
되는 안절은 남도 담에다 셈라 미팅 구체 개와다 미개와다 롱마탱기 남도들은 담에다 찌기로 남도 담에다 찌기로 창마기 줘야 그냥 버리네 또 가자 띵인진기 간다다 또 띵인진기 나죠디.
So mantra is to purify ordinary speech, our habits of speech. And then we also have all kinds of different concepts, thinking of all sorts of different things, various concepts, both virtuous, non-virtuous, as well as neutral that arise. So the antidote which purifies all of that is the yoga of the samadhi of wisdom mind.
Jirim kumyagi zodi tindishinada shöda kaza ki dāta dzimba nī sanāi muda da tindiga rāzo korwa da kaza chini nangchu ki baksha mambu yarwa tozo tsangma jaya chidiri.
So that's the primary purpose of the creation stage, to purify all those habits, whether it's talked about in terms of the outer container of the universe and the sentient beings within, or however it is described.
Tene kezo tanda tanda gangni kezo zongshuk rawa tenso tende kazo kirim gomba tene razo ki temba nyeki nane kunzob temba tan jawa yabare tene zogrim gomba tene ten tambe temba tan jawa yaba temba nyeki temba nyeki napshata tumbe nyamne toksiras.
And it purifies the two forms of self-grasping. Then here it also talks about the unity of creation and completion stage. So creation stage is primarily connected to relative truth, whereas completion stage is primarily connected to absolute truth.
Tene ngarazo da lam chongni zogo gere ani chongni zogo chaba tela yang la kirim gomba teki sonam ge choksa gere ani zogrim gomba teki yi ge choksa gere.
And on the path, we need to gather the two accumulations. So we gather the accumulation of merit through the creation stage, and gather the accumulation of wisdom through the completion stage.
Yes.
And likewise, through these we gain the result of the two kayas.
Yes. Kunzub damba dan tumbi kirim gomba tela tene zuku rubar chaba tang tene dandam damba dan tumbi zorum gomba tela tene anzola da rangden da chuku tamba topki yare.
So through the creation stage, which is in harmony with relative truth, we can accomplish the rupakaya, the form kayas. And through completion stage, which is in accord with absolute truth, we can accomplish the holy Dhammakaya.
Yes. Tene digita tanda di kirim dushu gomba di chikang yadang chikwa hosa.
So the most concise form of the creation stage is the 101st instruction.
Ngānsu gomdāng rāu di tāchi ngānsu bākshā tsamche ye tsang tene kēne zhi ki bākshā di ngānsu tsangma la ye tsang tene dine soha na shi tene hindi yewa chimbi kirim dāng tene kirim tis yewan ringbo dāng diwa dāng hindi diwa tōnsu rinpe jindu tis gom na ya digi yore.
And since we all have habits connected with these four modes of birth, if we practice these four different methods of meditation, the fully extensive one, the moderately extensive one, the abbreviated one, and the very abbreviated practice that are antidotes to the four modes of birth, that would be very good.
Tene mikse ngaranzu ta mi indi koso tene nganzu kiawan di yong tangwa ina nganzu la ngal jeke bhaksha yoro ha. Aho da di gomba la tene di kiawan ringbo senanda nganzu namji doji sumje sikir, doji sumje di gomna, zor gomna digiras.
And since we're all human, we have in particular the habits of birth from a womb. So if we emphasize the moderately extensive practice for purifying birth habits of birth from a wound, that's also good.
Yes. Tene salam chata to gombala sona tandi subject nipa salam chata to gomba.
Then next is the specific meditation of the profound path. So this is the next section in the outline, the meditation of the profound path.
Tela tene chilap ngudu jine ngondo namsil jine ngushi chabar jine dan sum yubena neta tambo chilap ngudu jine.
This practice has 3 sections: the essential point of the blessings of Siddhi, the essential point of the preliminary practice, removing obstacles of the path, and the essential point of the special main practice. So first is the essential point of the blessings of Siddhi. So take refuge and give rise to bodhicitta. Take refuge and give rise to bodhicitta. From within emptiness, visualize yourself as the deity. On the top of your head is the guru. So this is the practice of guru yoga in this case. So the Dhaka and Dakini in yogic union. So one visualizes the guru, the lama, in union with consort. Then perform offering, praise, and supplication. From the place of their union, a stream of Amrita descends and dissolves into your body, speech, and mind. Thus you receive the first 3 empowerments. The Dhaka and Dakini melt into the essential nature of bliss and dissolve into your heart center. You are inseparable with the nature of Vajra wisdom and naturally receive the precious word empowerment. Thus visualize, rest freely for a little while. In conclusion, make dedication. Since blessings actually descend, realization naturally arises, obstacles of the path are dispelled, obstructions and deviations are severed, and you obtain the 2 siddhis. This is the secret essential point. This is the 102nd instruction. So this is explaining the practices or the path of the Anuttara Yoga Tantras, within which there's creation and completion. And within completion, there's completion stage with characteristics and without characteristics. So from this point on, it's going to be teaching about those 2 forms of completion stage. And before one practices any of those, one performs Guru Yoga. So this is the Guru Yoga to do before those practices. Then the next section, the second part of the outline in this case, the essential point of the preliminary practice, removing obstacles of the path, has 3 sections.
Deja Dana Zajongwa Dongre Nenis Mundu Shemata Patar Gomlas Lamina Jarti Sunj.
So the first of these is the essential point of training the nadis or channels to be empty. So do the preliminary practice in accordance with the explanation in the preceding instruction. So perform the previous Guru Yoga that was taught.
Mundu Shemata Patar Gomlas Tene Koloshi Una Rajang Kundarma Sum Kawitsu to Yeba Nang Buma Tong Sangewa Nipan Zimba Inte Tarang Tadi kita Gazor Rang Idam Gilata Wachgom Karigom Laya Ani Tiki Kuluk Nalola Zasum Komiare Koloji Una Rajan Kundarmasum Kawitsu to Yaba.
In the center of the four chakras are the three nadis, the Rasana, Lalana, and Avaduti. They have the shape of pillars and inside are clear and empty, like hollow tubes. Thus visualize and concentrate. So within the wisdom body of whatever deity one is practicing with, there are these four chakras and three channels.
Yes. That Zasumutayang that color Jita Kangir Hada in that Jew the change color, Jamanon change color, Nigachi color, there are two colors.
And the four chakras are the great bliss chakra at the crown of the head, the enjoyment chakra at the throat, the dharma chakra at the center of the heart, and the emanation chakra at the navel.
And Digis Una, then the Zasumutukomia.
So within the center of these, one meditates on the three channels.
Kawitsu to Yeba, Nang Buma Tong Sange or Lamipanzi, Zasum Nang di Tongba.
And one visualizes the channels as having the shape of pillars and being clear inside and empty like hollow tubes.
Chidang announce that Tangbong announce Lu Idam Gilala Gomgirwa, Lu Idam Gilala Gomba Tayang, Nang Changma Kondong, Tongba Gongkuk Kondong.
And in general, when meditating on any kind of wisdom deity's body, the interior is hollow and empty. And within it are the four chakras and three nadis.
In this, Nang Tum Putawa, Nang Tuma Putawa Davos. Then Tangbo the Umatea Nanglo Tongba Tuma Putawa Davos.
In the interior of the Avaduti is inflated like a balloon filled with air. So the central channel is inflated like a balloon.
The Chichung di Tangbo Danyukin Nang Zam Chung Chukom. Tene Pudong Zam, Tene Shose Nang Zam, Tene Luji, Tene Lutamje Umi Nang Zam to Yepa, Tene Lutamje Umi Nang Zam to Gomos.
And then as far as its size, first visualize it as having the diameter of the shaft of an arrow, then the diameter of an incense container, then the diameter of a Tibetan milk vessel, and finally visualize it being as wide as your entire body.
Dini, that the Negombatiki Govato, Dini Lungsem Tamje Nangi Umarsupi Netos.
And then it describes the purpose or the reason for meditating in this way. It says this is the essential point for the entirety of prana and mind to naturally enter the avaduti.
Tanganzu Namjin the Lu Zai Tongra Gomba Shira or that dire and Zalung to the Hien because Lu Zai Tongra Gomba said.
So typically when in the teachings of Salung, this is referred to as the practice of the emptying enclosure of the the empty enclosure of the channels within the body. This is the 103rd instruction. And second is the essential point of life force, training the prana. So this is working with lung or prana. In this way, visualize the avaduti and 4 chakras as empty. On the right and left are the rasana and lalana. At their uppermost end, they reach the point between the eyebrows and then travel to the opening of the 2 nostrils. The 2 tubes descend straight down until they meet 4 finger widths below the navel, where they bend and enter the avaduti. So the central channel is in the middle of the body, and its upper end opens at the Brahma aperture at the crown of one's head, and then it runs all the way through the center of the body, and its lowest point is 4 finger widths below the navel. And there's a term in the Tibetan here that I don't think is actually translated in this English, but Tulku said he's not 100% sure what it was referring to, but generally there's like a crease or a wrinkle about 4 finger widths below the navel, and that's like where hair starts to grow, and so it's probably referring to that point. But in any case, the central channel's lowest point, its end, is 4 finger widths below the navel. And then the lalana and rasana, or roma and kyangma in Tibetan, curve upward and inward into the middle of the central channel. And the actual length of the central channel is not certain. It depends on the practice that is being done. So here it goes to 4 finger widths below the navel, but sometimes it's shorter. For example, in Poa, it stops at the heart, and then in other practices, it is sometimes longer than what is described here. So it can't be said certainly that it is a particular length. And in some trauma practices, it goes all the way to the bottom of one's heels. In trauma Poa.
Tene lungro bune chirpangde tangazu lungra salgerwa lungro tangbo lungro somsal gogdoa tende sal de kaso ani lungro bune chirsalde ta mikpa de karajasena ne da digdu thamse par chir sangsang da song sambatere.
When you exhale the stale breath, so first one needs to perform the practice of clearing away the stale breath, and the visualization for that is that you visualize that all illness, negative actions, and obscurations are purified, so they're completely cleansed away and purified without anything remaining.
Then nangdon tendikasu ndene sonashi nuchu tenyun jikten sangye dang changchup sembe yonten dang cheba lungin nambe nabu nyine then rojangin nang la chongwa umen namda tsupara mikpa zongs surngubdikasu dimikati nangso.
And then the visualization for when you inhale is that all the good qualities of the world, the environment and its inhabitants, the inanimate and animate, and the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas become aspects of prana. Having entered into your nostrils, the prana enters into the rasana and lalana, finally entering the avaduti.
Da jamlung jamlung dadwe zong sa de kaso lung di jamlung zong.
Focusing on that, slowly hold the gentle prana. So hold the gentle prana or jamlung.
Tadi lung ngazoy na mangcha la kashina na di rikasa parlung siyash hodi.
And sometimes this is also referred to as intermediate prana.
Didi lala ura kasa zungshena.
And if you know how to hold this, it's quite easy.
Di tata gidi lungrasal songsa lungrasal tsarne tene ngazo tenglung chus lung ngaya ngumne di teolama kyal.
So first one clears away exhales the stale breath, and then one inhales, that's called the upper prana, and then brings it down below the navel and holds it there.
Tene oglung garzota oglung kum segre oglung di kum ya.
And then one brings up and tightens the lower prana.
Tene dini tewe ki tetu katula da gang na sha so hare.
And then one brings these two pranas together at the level of the navel and fills that space and holds it.
Tene ngana ta ka so re karin ko. Galwa de ti session den la pikatan gore danga so jablo ti galwa se ro galsik de ti session den la pikatan desina galsik den la tis bige de doche tis den la pikatan do so bikira ta ya ma ta mi pa do ko ende china so ga ya re.
And then one can bring your lower spine forward a little bit. This is not something you do very strongly. It's something you kind of focus on a little bit or visualize.
아니 또 칠풀 저러면서 저거도 수도 있다요 그랬잖아.
And like fill up your belly so that it puffs out.
되는 데나 갈성도 랑바기 룽중읍 레 차밥 순zem바니 내양다고 호스테네 아나운서다 디디 길라 룽데 카저도 길 아니 당한저 룽데 되네 욱데 남진나시 땅샤고 그래.
So in a relaxed manner, exhale, inhale, and hold the breath naturally. This is the correct essential point. So the winds have pooled and gathered at the navel, and then one breathes, exhaling and inhaling as one would normally.
단데 가나서 게림 겁나 저림 겁나 되네 디나싱기다 가나서 검소나다 사냥 조독 쩔람 탐제도디 그래서 그런디 버치체 초기어세.
And so this can be applied to any practice, whether it's creation stage or completion stage, or even if you're very familiarized with it, all conduct of going about and eating and sleeping and so forth.
아즈마산다 균도가 저기다 가서다 제tum나 만저기 균도 람드 켜서 말해 람드 켜 초기어 초기어.
And so if you're able to sustain this continuously, that's a wonderful thing to do. It's appropriate and very good.
And 되게서 양아저 양선다 아저 양네 다 옥점 정말한데 옥디양 니 강샤게데 맨나 되는 아저 독스잖아. 갓좀내로 아니 너구니네 마 묵충세레 디스 룸네 양마 아스마스네 양결 다가라오 양결 카 강초스.
And in case one gets distracted and loses it, then again one can inhale a little bit through the nose with the mouth closed and refill the belly.
지당하는 저 롱야 송뒤당 땅디 창마양 카 칸이 제기만 그냥 나는 제기 나 양반을 제고 그랬어.
And in general, when exhaling and inhaling and so forth in this context, one doesn't use the mouth; it's only done through the nose.
다든지 미과체네. 되네 대다를 제베 룽 껜메 바랑기 룽 신징정이 내도 다든지 제가 있나? 대가라서 다 룽 껜메 바 다시 말아서 룽도 신투비하기 내 요래 손서.
So with that visualization, it says, by practicing in this way, you hold the prana naturally without faults. This is the essential point of mastering pranam. So by holding the prana naturally and without faults, one will gain mastery of lung or prana.
That's 나랑 저기 되네 속불라 가서 이제 룽나 자베게 되네 룽나 로비어래 주비어래 룽 자베 룽나 주비어래 야나가 룽다 망부여래 이나 자베 룽나 주비어래.
And in general, within the body, there are 5 pranas. There are many branches of those, but there are 5 principal ones.
매냠당, 찹세당, 투셀당, 갱규당, 송진구룽스.
So these 5 are the fire equalizing lung, the pervading prana, the pervading prana, the downward clearing prana, the upward prana, and the life force or vitality prana. And so this the vitality prana is the one that sustains the life force. The fire equalizing prana is the one that creates heat within the body and digests food. And this fire equalizing prana is located at the navel. And the upward lung is located in the upper part of the body. And its function is to control inhalation, exhalation, and so forth. And the downward clearing prana is in the lower part of the body. So it governs all the all the pranas of the lower body, as well as using the bathroom and so forth. And the pervading prana pervades the entire body, all parts of the body. And so this practice of working with prana contains the key points for holding all of those pranas. And in the teachings, the body is analogized to a very large city. And the channels are like roads, and the three channels and the chakras are emphasized in there, the biggest ones. But in general, there's many other smaller channels throughout the body. There's said to be 72,000 of them. So all of those are like roads that cars can drive on, like a highway or something. And the prana moves throughout all of those channels. And the prana is said to be like a blind horse. It can go into any path, it can go wherever, but it doesn't see where it's going. And the consciousness is said to be like a paralyzed person who's riding the horse. He can see where he's going, but he has no power or independence. He's just going wherever the prana, the horse, is going. So if one is able to bind the prana or hold the prana, then the consciousness will also be bound.
다 양다 그녀로 통소 뭐를 되네 근데 다 양다 그녀로 통을 했어 롱칭은 남시 대한 미요가 그 다다 되기로와 그좀 맞아.
And so if one binds the pranas, then consciousness will not move or will not waver. And due to that, one will be able to see the authentic, unconditioned nature of phenomena.
나와las. 디디 치강 자다스. 단디 콜로 실라야 저단 콜로 실라야 잠깐 망고여레스 콜로가 콜로 트로서 같은데 지야여레.
There's also many ways of counting the different chakras, sometimes 4, sometimes 5 or 6 as well.
Tene lungziya tanda tene lan jam lungziya songsa tina shi lungziya tela ya tene lung pumpa chen siya do tene jam lung pumpa chen siya do ta tene ya lung jirwa jinen siya do ta chak lung siya do tene ziya tate mangbo yoris.
And here it says to hold the gentle prana or jamlong, but there's many different ways of holding the prana. There's like the vas breath and the gentle vas breath and the like fierce breath and so forth. There's different ways of doing this. So this is the 104th instruction. So we'll leave the meditation instructions there, and I'll offer a little bit of the reading transmission.
Jide jeba nang sem yedro to sheba la zokwa chimbo landa wa menjong chimbo upchoba tata ke ten duwa sungi tangbo lo chokde nawe yul tongbar tenba ne tani nang sem yedro to damba che te te hi zokwa chimbo landa wa kyeho chokda nawe yul la to tamje ma ji tongbar nyamba ne melong zongi na so che yang melong ngöyin tangbar chikwa shin tetar melong do sherwa zongi melong go ngoso tangwar chiki tana melong ge dangla zug me jindu zug me ba jindu nansi ki chwe tamje ranjin tongba nile jen me te jembe shiwen dole melong jinko yong dangla shinji jinko na wada tetar ranjin mo drebi chwe nam jembe shewar ji she so jepi sem tongbara tenpa ne nawa ranjin mepa chodu nawa teyi tingi jepi yilla surdu tang sem ne kandra gaudu kundala kala tin nam chungne shingnayan nam ka chundu ime takpa jini demi rangsem timen demi sangida majulu yudubi chungi do tela yang teyang tachi ji hewa yulto to troshin yunangil zimba namme to sangpa ne nam kala tin june tengpa na tin nam ki insu 인gle gudu mason jindo rang tim ne mina wa tar hewa yulto do tralwe tusum namke gongbar chimba de tingen jing gyanso le chedra panna chungzi tinme la keche to ne tingi jingko na chungde chungne shikde tingi jingko me kangle tongmar kangle chungwa takpar cha chenam tamje deshin shewar ji xieso namba chigdo cho tamje mangbu yang ing keme le chung dadar yang ter ne tamar yang ter trol gangshar ji xeba de yang dangbu semni tongbe ngang le chung dada yang ter ne tamar yang teranga che xewar chao 대대외 라진 예네 상계 임을 군절에 semni namka 대외 라진 예네 상계 닝부 장적으로 조신도 배 상계의 조바마 마제 라진 답은 하나 셔서 니바 유sem님의 동바 때문에 대더라 유난 유sem님의 다 유sem님의 예네 답발라 방랑님의 조진가 좀에 강남되네 가셔 동반니 탐지 님니 사대 군난다 대더라 나비 유단 진짜지 시와 밀람진 낭터 전라 이스멜라 나와네 나베나 방랑단가 좀 내버려 시바대 군질한테들 대신이도 지금 이 주니 유네 나나라 도는 좀 안쪽에 대신이 나오지 장중이 나와데 랑게 긴긴 dorme도 미투 ndrochebe korsheso tene kanang dembe nawa dembe tangwa migyu chudara shene tamche chotamje nangyam zongin tawi ngogor loza tetan chawala jangwar chawo tetara jangwar chawo yume tang lote tu meba tebani chi yula ngeme nawa nazo chara lola teme choto chimbo ni rangjin zogbo chimbo shiorcha dedar nawa chingi tu mangebra naso nawa da tela yang zimbi shiwa sa teme bra choto 냐주도 저라 진 저거지 뭐 저거야 남가 제가 지들 나와 내면들 로데 미지 초통차 좀면 남게 뭐 라진 저거 좀 해서 대 이제 집어 이제 그 반에 대들 나신 그런데 전남라 나비 데비 전남 미미 냐반이 마운처럼 맞이 냐반 되시는 신 미나 냐반이 되었으면 되면 시다 냐반이 탐제 예나 저번에 들 냐반이 나를 초탐제 냐배 장 랑드르장은 그렇게 하셔야 나시 이춘다 나라 나란데 가베 어와 치즈로네 미요라 냠 마옹바 마제베 초나라 냠 다다와 치나 다다와 치나 오 무슨 리고다나 미냐 마타는 나와라 냠데 체젤레 뒤숨되면 또브라네 시에바다 뒤숨이야 뒤숨만 줘브란 자와 시면나 동브란 매베 동브라냠 탐제 깨와 매진 깨매징앙네 종앙도네 나오는 거보다 낭도니네 라신도 강도야 마저바 냠반이도 임브르말라 갑자 최동제 냠반이 베시라게 팔로스마 냠반이도 시에서 미여비 추니 미여도래 최남동제 라신 마제 모우니기 미여 최남라지 마제베 모우니기 미여와 자외 타단 차와 쯔비 율런데와 전에 냠반이도 시에서 셈게미도 때만데라 안나세 건데 심지종인데 심지라진 추인 남가지 라진 남가라진 대선 분야만 게메라진 전에 냥인데 내신의 장축군도 장부인 대양 제대로 나와 봐서 종인 멜롱 종인 멜롱 그거를 싫어하다 파워치 셈네 좀 묵힌단다 심지 풍부자와대 직대 함내 진예보다 심지 지와인 시해배 는지발라 전지바 덴베 nangsi chiwi samji pacha kumpa milam dharna wala jim nangdu nyinna nam chubaya nangdu nyinna ma chubaya yino nangdu nyinna ma chubaya yino tena nawe samji chuna taja wana nawa zimbe simnya tongbar taja bana namka shasha tohale simnya namka toro zungja dan namka rajin nido sim zungja shaso namka gyumida taja bana kunche le 제들 남가 본점을 봐지 셈년 남게 라진 결과에 제선 결과에 봐 되는 등이 제만의 시신양인데 군도 장부 라진 이번에 군제에 셈년 민기 되는다 봐도 인부 장주 군제 lungido 제소 니발랑가데 나도 이러면 되는다 보니만 되는 초동제 현장 몇 중. 저번에 우주번에 나와 나도 동바 이면 되면 직등 도만 미면 되던다 초당 지면 탐제 냠바니 낭 냠동 냠된 냠 좀바 냠 유냠 매냠 타른데 냠 인증 되나다 병이 들으셔 탐제 낭동 니즈메 베지도 되만다란데 달란데 촉차 쳐바마다 남가데 되니 베지로 군이나 남 최근 남가라지 남가라네 라지메 남가라네 베야메 남가라네 용서처럼 탐제 말레 와데데 들으셔 와진 시브라지 시에서 남데다 남가든 도냠 냠바도 나야메 나오서 동가 냠바 조라서 올로 통을 근데요 잠도 냠바냐바 죽다 죽니니까 미실라 죽진지 시와 견네도 좀바냐바 시 메뱅앙드라 트루낭다 도라서도 예브라 냠바 나냠 도로와 낭잠 도로와 트루와도 메 파란 냠바라 진마저바 미규주도 탈렌데라 냠바 남가양 위낭도 되네 저담제 되네 냠바 춘니 예산을 벤데위 인 빼단자와 데 자만에 동반에 파파 고조팅인도라 자만이네 동신 마음셔 소하메제네 요메 유메라 저다니모나 나 담제 다제 남다 남가진 제비춘에 간다라도 못해야 미제바나 메톤도 쳐 링아나 메바다다 스님에 대드람 대다라도 된 바니 잔세메 교타파 잠도 타나 템바인 코로알레네 타냐 메니데 강다 먼저 타네 전혀 마음 디잔시 월세월세 대단 저와 다들 대다라다 타마다도 정화 인천은 동자 처럼 다도 시시라 신동 탐제 담에 바야 시월지 시에서 수은디엔 나와 주밀레전시에도 르나 탐제 르다 탐정 오토마도 원한테 로이 딱과 탐정 오동 민남 루르랑신 조타니 덴준 님의 유슴 저면 치글라 마그 존지면 되다 태양 봉보다 감라서 버르려 다시 원을 딱과더니 남더니 처럼 메베장 뭐 동남면도 다바데나면 된데 지나가는 잠에버 루르와데 마드블라 저랑제노 제다바야 명당도 베르마제랑 도신도 율부신리 기비 메테 오던데 잠밀람지 메트라 바샤 추바나 나 낭줄레 힐마드바 나세 추문 냠바탐제 도타 예토 나신 요제드라 나데이나 즈냠바시레 담바다 저니서 와잖아 왜 요다 되는지 메시와 하면 치기치라 마가원도 메데 요다 유전자는 남과도 임드다 아 인벤텔 유단 잘로바 메진절로 테메도 절와 메브라마제 지단체 제 료가 바양 자랑세는 메진 지르치라도 마다바다 딱삼 제라도 마닥삼 따베 표준이 저번에 대다제베 저던 저런 버전이니서 지금은 뭐라 몸ben 지마도 저러다 yana 대양 보정게 되나 저다 대대 저다 남이 저다 매발라 치도다나 권도다 매베 된테월라 좀 지바데 남게레 기우정부 기우정부게 연대냐 마다나 제마도다 메세베 된디라는 된디 수이 거바인 시에지바는 인파마를 쳐dom제 다다와서 다자와도 가이버드는 로로 와데고 니기 동바이노 시에서 샘플 메전 유치런 버드만에 드라메발라 만진 드라메발라 만진 직 para 담베 베니 치다 멜론즈이나라 유다 넘버 1 비슈라제 데니즈노 선도 넨드로다나 세나마 바야 유긴 남바야 섬라시라면 뭐 무슨 니스마도 버셔시 콜라오라 차바다 잔나 멜론도 진지 진지 존년난데 장게 제다 존년이 송어제다 존년 율라마 베진도 나와다 나서서 보여서로서 만나 유데 셈데 파르 율레 표와 마이 유긴 남바 넘버 1 시알라 나와 노데 제멜롱도 나와야 표와 마이지 제기 존년 남나마다 나와다 로셔셔 대들 넘버시르 둘 존르스베 르존스버트로테 안던도 제나 파라 셈 파르마 펜 넘버 술라 샤르샤와야 모두다 서비스 셈 지나 파르소야 모두 진제기 넘버 진제 메보다 넘버 대연제나 오 메브랑 버샤케 모두 버시르 요다 유지 니제스 모두 버샤바도 다제라 강게 로자 자진 데데 데네지 디니민 텔레지젠 메마인제 디지 친 담마인 시소 요즘 라진브도 랑르데 때문에 술 대다라나 나웨 유남 담제 라진버실로 남담정 의정 버전나서 님은 전에 다 버지 다시 매그 신의 저버지 인들 나저저 나 담제 전신 매병한도 지금 밀람 나저저 밀람 니기 밀람 나서 니기한도 지고도 나와라 차전 저걸로 남고 의정 매병한도 찔럼 발럽 추잉한도 지고도 나서 있으면 버추니기 안도 지고라 버던 때는 진짜 미시 저지고도 강라야 다시 매거로 남게 계속 다시기 율은 대화들은 대화 뜨고 남는 시 남게 아니든 띵은 요라 저지 제대로 죽인다 근도 시기 시와 대신 군로 장자 전전은 것도 많이 있다 넘버다와나 것도 시와다 그절에 된다 내가나서 저는 그런 적은 저음에 배드는 나도 지구나 좀 미미도 배면서인데 인진남 것도 그러는 저 강셔랑도 또나 그러면 내한테들 콘데님은 한도 콘데님의 심정한도 지 주나서 저정한도 삼제로 냠len지 지고 중심 분전 남고 한도 심지가 좀 동병한도 전 강셔랑도 이메 타고서 좀 발랍 나로바 추용한도 저런 저게 대양 초진의 주번을 지수다 콘데게 콘데 심정한도 지반의 군제라는 진노지선은 심기 제신 심정한도 지 저서 중심 분전 남고한도 여러분 다음 전형 남정은 나머지는 로마지 기저로 도서배 강라 육만리지게 단제 로념 강들지 저더러 sem가 드블라 sem랑가 루시아와다 동버지와 디니렌제레 레지게베 이실레 마유치로 말라저지와드라 강샤라 끼미징한도 지와야 sem기저와 sem징 sem미징아 sem미예네 돈도 매병한도 공들로 저버 니는 저면 저저대들 남도 시스템라 소모 출을 출저와도 또때 도할래 제대로 출을 추샤나 진이 출으로 냠지 되니 출으로 견도 견된 남대선 공부 수경 통모 이시에서 공부 sem이 저 보통 이런 데하고 출들으시는 개화시에서 봐보지는 되는 number jabana thanla number jabana kheba ingi chigla tokpa mai no che sumba jino sumba la nin langdol me bitan la zongzi mebra dama ne tan ju dubai na zong zo me bitan nam ga shi ni sun ga zungen de zangen langdol me ro ye lo yi ni sun ni sun ma zen kang dre sho 지다와 오니는 타브람 오니는 타브라 로바야 지나 자단 자단 대바 니메 되어 좀 저는 근절라 마제 남다가 버시는 제가 나요 zongen jira jidra jeba rajini me benjina chishin zoda da jong jaja zanme rajin zo kwa chuma da da shade teme yela nyame sen jeba zime ri ba namyen chuma ni rajin zo kwa chuma ne do nya kang do yang ga pa dan drupa te iche zime jiri ba rangin da kera zo kwa chuma ngang do lingi drupa de gunjile tingan ne gunje jeba chanchu sam nga la dro dan kuru yime be sem kang la 강라 세월 맞아 고마죠 고숨 맞아 제신로 버려 쇼 지들 나와라지 나가서 게면 남고도 저라지 저 보시면 시작해서 지든 고바 갑자기 개와 ngo와니 지든 고바 갑자기 개와 ngo와니 고와 ngo와니 다는 개와 ngo와한테 추가를 잡는 거라는 진미한테 초더 리바 콜을 징바이 두베스면 되는 거 수시 제원은 닝부 된다 직자 닝부 된 직접도 저면 주체면 좀 저거 보기와 로가간다 주인 초라신 부인 브라고 임브로 콘도 마셔봐라 랑게 조다다다 당으로 신 징조 내비 공부를 말해 뱅가 둘러서 친구는 대신기 때보다 로 다게 로터지 주라신 잡고 좀 군제 장습승진 남과 영어랑 하서 쇼지 제메보다 제메 칼라닝 뭐 진짜데 제신도 저도 뭐도 스님이 여러 저런 제메 냥서 닝고도 전 좋아 semdro semga zonzin ge chute kanyam yang ba chim kin te ter yekun te ter yezo kundu zang be shin malju jin ta be de sho to bo ja lu lu ju de same zunyin zimba jwa ke mi to ran ju chi so ta me khala mi yol ta la mi yol lun ge to sho ra jin zo ba chim sem yang so le shi to be shi ra ta ni le mi ne wa lu 탄일레 미네빌 류데 주변자와 오 아무것도 안 들리네 쇼게 쳐진 대선도 나와라 쇼 되네 텔레주는 기회서 하다야 뭐 하다 말하게 근데 렌즈도 나와라 쇼
So we'll leave off the morning teaching session there for now, and then whatever merit and virtue has arisen from this, let's all seal with dedication together.
sanam de ni tamje zuba ni tamne ngebe dana pamje kega na chen ba mong Sebe zolan zhawa zhawa sho be me zheng lu ngan jir zhawa chen ye de nying be xin tan den zheng kan ge sab de dan ba si de me no she dan zhe ben zen jir ji kan lup che sum zheng lu zam len sa sum jia pa ra zhou yu chou sum na wa man zhe de sum ge le sho